Hello, AP and CCP US History students. Here is your assignment for this Wednesday. A quick kind of recap of where we've been. So far, you've done Andrew Jackson, the man. Now, I've had a few people reach out, hey, I see the question that I have to do, but where do I get the resources? The resources are on this form right here. Okay, so the 2 week plan actually has the link to the video here, Andrew Jackson, the man. There's the video. And the text version is right here from the History Channel. So either watch it or read it. Either way, you can get the information there. For Tuesday's question over the presidency, the actual presidency, the video is right here, hyperlinked. Okay. For Wednesday, we're going to be discussing the rise of the Whigs. This is a little bit more involved. Okay. Now, the rise of the Whigs is going to start off with a kind of off kilter thing. I'm going to have you take a political quiz. Now, this is on isidewith.com. Some of you have done this before, but you may have done it for the actual presidential election. We're going to do it for political parties. So when you click on the link, it's going to take you here to the 2020 political quiz. Okay. And of course, it's going to say answer the following questions to see how your political beliefs match your political parties and candidates. Okay. So this is going to take you through all these different things. You know, it's going to start off with immigration issues. It's going to go to criminal issues. It's going to ask you domestic policy issues. Now, some of these sections have more questions. What I want you to do is actually take your time on this. So answer these questions. Should the U.S. build a wall along, should the U.S. build a wall along the southern border? Now, of course, it says yes and no, but some of you are going to say, you know what? I don't think it's as simple as that. And you may want to click other to see if maybe it's no, this would be too costly. So you're against it because it's just too expensive. It's not really an immigration thing. It's how expensive it would be. Others of you would say, you know what? No, but increase our military presence. Somebody would say yes, and Mexico should pay for it. So again, they go a little bit more in depth into some of these answers. So I'd like you to do that. If you don't know what they're talking about, there are links here that says learn more. If you click on that, it's going to take you to some current events articles and some resources so you can learn a little bit more about the issue. You can look about statistics of the issue, how other people feel about it, polling data, things like that. And you can see what people are saying, and you can even add to the discussion by clicking on these for each one of these questions. Now, I don't expect you to do that for each one of these questions. Some of you already know how you feel about this without doing any research. So let's say you're just like, no, you click on that and you move on. Okay. Now you'll notice under each one of these questions, it has least, less, somewhat, more, or most. This is gauging how important this is to you. So if you're like, yeah, somewhat, then you keep it there. Okay. And you can, say, I kind of could go either way as to whether or not I care about this. If you're like, no, I don't really care about it all that much, then you're going to put it down here because that's going to help to filter your results. Because some political parties skew this as a really important issue, and others say, nah, it's not really like we have a viewpoint, but it's not really all that important. And then, of course, it moves on. Should illegal immigrants have access to government subsidized health care? Let's say you're like, yes, absolutely, and you really care about it, then you can do it that way. Of course, you can do other stances as well and refine it. Maybe you were yes, but only if they pay taxes. So again, you have the ability to refine your answers to get the most accurate results. After 3 questions in each one of these sections, some of these sections are going to have show more immigrant questions or, more immigration questions. And you can keep going as much as you want because the more you answer, the more refined your results will be. So, it could go on to should Muslim immigrants be banned from entering the country until the government improves its ability to screen out potential terrorists? So again, they're getting very specific on immigration issues. And if this is kind of one of your big issues, then maybe you spend more time on this. I don't expect you to answer more questions in every single one of these sections because you might hit sections where you're just not really all that excited about it or really care too much about it. So you can kind of do however you want it on this, but I do want you to at least take about 3 or 4 of these sections and answer more than just 3 questions. Because again, it does refine your results. Again, you can move on to criminal issues. You can answer things on domestic policy, which means policies that are here at home in the United States, transportation issues, okay, environmental issues, healthcare, educational issues, economic issues, social issues, electoral issues. And that's been in the news, of course, recently. National security, science, foreign policy, and of course, local issues where who would you most like to run for president in 2024? Okay, so obviously they're kind of putting out all kinds of different people at this point, just kind of throwing and flooding the little marketplace here. Some Democrats, Pete Buttigieg was and still is the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Mike Pence was vice president. Michelle Obama, of course, was and still is Barack Obama's wife. Kamala Harris, obviously, is going to be vice president. They even put in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because he's flirted with it in the past. Donald Trump could run again in 2024. Bernie Sanders, Ben Shapiro, who is a conservative talk person. He's been kind of bandied about as a possible candidate down the road. Andrew Yang, who's a businessman, he ran for the Democratic nomination last time around. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which she's the Democratic Congresswoman from New York. And of course, you could go other stances as well and look at how many names come along here. And boy, you can learn who's who in Washington and across the board looking at some of these names. Look, even Kanye made the list. But of course, they also have Jo Jorgensen, who ran as the libertarian candidate this past time around. So they're going to have some different names on this list. They could, Candace Owens, who is a conservative talk person, Gary Johnson, who's been a libertarian candidate, Howie Hawkins, who was the Green Party, I think it was, candidate this time around. I could be wrong, but I think it was the Green Party. But again, there's all kinds of answers. Oprah even made the list here. So they kind of go all around the gamut here of people that you may or may not know. And of course, some of these names are completely, you probably have never heard of some of these people. Okay. Which qualities are most important in your candidate? You put that in. What's another question you would like to see added to the quiz if maybe there's an issue that they didn't include that you'd like to see? And then you click show my results. And when you show the results, it's going to come up and it's going to give you a list of the different political parties that are out there. Okay. So with my very, very limited amount of whatever the heck I clicked on, it's going to tabulate the results, if you will. Okay. And it's going to say, you didn't submit enough. So obviously you're going to have to take the quiz all the way through. Sorry. If I was to take this and just randomly click on things, just hoping that maybe, just maybe it allows me. Okay. Well, this is fun. Good old internet pop-ups. So if I go through and just randomly, and please don't do this, okay? I'm just trying to show you what it actually gives you. Again, you should take this a little bit more serious, especially if you're going to plan on voting down the line. It's always good to kind of check in and see where your issues lie, especially when you got to declare a political party down the line, possibly. I'm hoping that's enough to where they'll just let me submit. I'll go ahead and say, why not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? And I like honesty. And of course, it's going to tabulate it out. Now, the other thing on here, the actual assignment here, is you are going to paste your results. You're going to take a screenshot of the results once the results come up. So they're processing right now. You're going to take a screenshot and put it right here in this chart here. So that way I can see that you've completed the quiz and that you've done what you need to do on I side with. And then you're going to take the top 3 political parties that you got and do a little research on them, because they may not just be the typical Democrats and Republicans. You might end up with a third party that you've never heard of before. So do a little research, and they're going to give you some links to actually tell you what to do, and tell you about the political parties. Okay. But bottom line is, when you get your results, you're going to type out the parties, and then you're going to tell me why you think you got the results that you got. Underneath here, it says, if you were to declare a political affiliation or a party in order to vote, which party do you feel you would select and why? And it doesn't have to be one of the 3 up here. Just because you may agree with them on specific issues or whatever else, you may have an affinity for one of the political parties not mentioned in your top 3. So you can choose whatever you want. Some people are one-issue voters. There are plenty of people out there that are, politically very liberal. but yet register Republican because they're pro-life on abortion. There are plenty of people who are very fiscally conservative and very conservative on foreign policy, yet are big human rights advocates and become Democrats because of that. So, you can be kind of skewed towards a political party just because of one issue. You can certainly be that. And of course, my random clicking here made me an American Solidarity Party, which I haven't even heard of. That's a new one. The Green Party, the Democratic Party. So my top three would be these parties. But let's say I look through it and I decide I'm a transhumanist. Transhumanist would be the correct way of putting that. I can put down that that's what I'm going to register as. Okay. Now, obviously, the top two parties are the Republicans, who are the GOP, and the Democrats, who are the D here. But the rest of the political parties here, you can look through. You can, if you've always wanted to know what a libertarian is, you can certainly look into that. They're going to give you all kinds of resources. You can look at your answers again to see how they work out. And of course, you can look at my ballot. And my ballot would tell me that if these people were running based on my results, these are the people I would probably agree with. Okay. And again, they even kind of give me a 2020, based on what I had clicked, I would agree with Howie Hawkins, who was a Green Party candidate, and Brian Carroll, who was the American Solidarity. And again, I have never even heard, but man, look at that beard. I definitely am voting for that beard. Bottom line is this, and it even says, hey, you're in this House district. I am in the 8th House district. They know from my location, so they kind of give me that as well. So again, this kind of gives you all kinds of resources. What I'm only interested in right now are the political parties. So again, you would take a screenshot of this right here. Okay, try and get as much in as you possibly can. Get rid of the pop-up, and screenshot it and paste it in up here in this box. Give me the top 3 parties. Tell me what party you would declare, at least in a few sentences. And then this last one, you're going to have to do a little research, both from the textbook and from your work here under the Rise of the Whigs. So textbook's going to give you some basics on the Whigs, but so is this video right here. You click on this, brings up Mr. Beat, who is very irreverent and awkward. We don't need the Verbo ad. But bottom line is, you're going to watch a brief history of the Whig Party to kind of give you a background on what the Whigs were all about. And then you're going to answer the question that if you were to compare your results from the issues of today and the political party that you chose, would you, if you were to transfer back into the 1830s in the age of Jackson, would you have qualified as somebody that agreed with Andrew Jackson and his Democratic Party, or would you have been a Whig? Would you have been opposed to Jacksonian democracy? And you would explain matching your current issues to those of the age of Jackson. So I want to see that you can actually say, you know what, on the foreign policy front or on the economic policies or whatever else of today, I would definitely have agreed with Henry Clay or Andrew Jackson or Martin Van Buren or whoever else, and declared whether you were Democrat, Whig, whatever. Okay, so I want to see that you're actually doing a little bit of research and a little bit of processing in your answer here. And this answer should be a solid paragraph and a well-developed paragraph at that. Again, if you have questions on this, if you have concerns about how to answer those questions or whatever else, you can certainly reach out. You can reach out through email, through office hours, or if you need to schedule, and I'm always up for this, if you need to schedule a special office hour session at some point, if you and a group of friends are like, hey, we'd like to have an office hour where the 3 or 4 of us kind of get some special tutoring and help on this or any number of these skills that we've been going over, please reach out and do so. But that is what your assignment is for this. It is 80 points, so it's a little bit more than your other assignments. Again, your questions so far have been this one on Andrew Jackson as president, which again is due tomorrow, or due Thursday, I should say. And then you have the very first question. My screen's kind of wigging out on me. This is due tomorrow, and I only have 7 of you that have turned it in. Okay, answering the question about Andrew Jackson, the man, when he had a duel. And the question was basically, should he be disqualified from running for president if he's killed somebody in a duel? So you are not only answering that question, but there is an extra credit opportunity to respond to one of your classmates if you so choose. So read through that. And then this one right here, again, is you're analyzing King Andrew I after watching this video and reading the assignments. And again, that's part of what you've already kind of read in the textbook. So at least theoretically. So please make sure you're keeping up on this. If you have questions, obviously reach out. But other than that, best of luck, and we'll see you down the road. Stay safe, stay healthy.